Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 169th episode of the Meeple Dungeon podcast. As always, I am Rob.
And I'm Anna Marie.
And you're probably wondering where we've been for the last couple weeks. It's been kind of a gong show for me in particular, because I got sick a couple weeks back, and it was pretty bad for me for a few days, and then I recovered enough for me to go to the annual Metal Fest that happens here locally in Armstrong, which is about an hour away from where we live. And while I was there, I lost my voice. And
even more?
Even more so than I had.
Yeah.
And it's been slowly coming back, but it's not been easy especially with the smoke that's outside.
I was going to say it's making it worse now.
I work outside. Most of my job is outside, and right now there's a huge amount of smoke here in the Okanagan.
It was so thick today. So thick.
And it's really doing a number on my lungs and throat.
Yep.
So I might even get out of breath a little bit as we go here, but it's from the Boston Bar Fire. If you haven't seen it, you should go look up
some pictures
on the Google machine there and look up Boston Bar Fire. It's just west of Merritt, which is about an hour north of us, and it's crazy.
It's huge.
It's like 5,000 hectares or something.
Yeah.
Nuts. So we decided we had to record because this has been a couple weeks in the making, and it's I just can't guarantee that my voice will be any better over the next 3, 4, 5 days. So we figured we would get through this one.
Yep.
And hopefully it sounds better for the next episode. So we're going to try and get through this episode as promptly,
efficiently
as possible, just so you don't have to listen to my scratchy voice for too long. But we have some new to the collection. We have some crowdfunding we want to look at, and then we have a big old review at the end to do. So that big old review at the end is going to be the
big old quick review,
simplest version of that big old review as I can do. So, but let's start off with some new to the collection. What do you have there?
I have Forest Shuffle, and this game is designed by Kosh and published by Lookout Games. And this one, it's been around for a few years. It's 2023, and I
don't think it was available around here until
I don't think so either.
Last year. I think like early 2025 sort of thing. And it wasn't really on our radar because
I will say that any game that has a fox on the cover, you kind of just like, oh my goodness, another game with a fox. But like,
well, it's kind of the way when I first saw it, I was like, oh, it's just another, because nature theme was a huge thing there for a bit there in the last couple of years. And it just was like, okay, another nature themed game. And I didn't really put too much thought into it. Yeah. But then we heard so many people loving this game.
Well, there was a card game, a duel card game, or a fox card
Fox
game.
In the Forest?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then there was Fox in the Forest Duel. And then there was the Fox Experiment.
Yeah, you're right.
And then a Forest Shuffle is not a game with a fox in it. It's just got a fox on the cover. So I can see where, Yeah,
I was just kind of just like, I mean, maybe it's a fine game, but it wasn't something that we were like, had to go out of our way to get. But then
I will challenge that.
Okay.
And say, if this had space on the cover.
Yeah, potentially. Yep.
It wouldn't have mattered how many games had space on the cover.
No, it doesn't.
And you would have been fine.
Yeah, you're right.
But I'm really excited. We've been hearing a lot about this game. And
the crew around here, like the Boards Alive crew with Aaron and Matt and Brendo and Scott, love this game.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh man, I better get a copy of this.
Yeah.
So here it is, and we're going to play it with them hopefully soon.
Which is great, because then maybe I can entice you to get the Fox Experiment, if that's what it's called. And
yeah, that's what that's called. I think that was from...
was it Pandasaurus?
Yeah, I think it was Pandasaurus.
Or something. I don't know if it was Pandasaurus, but...
Yeah, I think it was Pandasaurus. I think you're right.
I think that orange logo is just popping in my head. But, but it looks intriguing to me anyways.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, I think there is a... Fox, what was it called? Fox Experiment. I think there's a copy of that in the Fall Con
cool.
auction.
Maybe we can look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll pick it up there.
Or we'll try to anyways.
But yeah, Forest Shuffle.
Yeah.
We finally have, and it's because apparently, like, I don't know much about it, but everyone says this is fantastic.
It looks really cool. It looks like you plant trees, which are cards. Mm-hmm. It's all card driven, and then it looks like you're just adding. From there, you're building off your trees, and so it's the rectangle card, right? And you can have cards you're adding that are lengthwise or that are kind of widthwise that you're tucking under or tucking, and you're just kind of building under and out from your forest.
I've seen some pictures of it, but I have not looked into how it works or anything.
I think it's just that, like, certain. I think it's kind of, it's not an engine builder, so that's the wrong thing to say. But I think that the cards you have can build off of other things. So like
combos.
Yeah, like so this card will score more if it's in like this kind of a tree or near this kind of an animal or like that kind of
so
thing.
Like the fantasy realms thing.
So you're trying to kind of, but not really. You're actually building it out on the table. You're building out your forest, and so you're just trying to be like, okay, I've got this. So you're gonna want to try to get cards that kind of build off of that or like grow and
that's kind of like fantasy
that.
realms where like if you get like say the wizard. And if you also have the wizard's staff and you also have this in the line, then it's worth more points.
But those are just all staying in your hand until the end, right? You're
you lay it down at the end.
Yeah, and those are bonkers kind of points that happen. I think these are more just like you're trying to create an ecosystem that makes sense. Like a working ecosystem. Awesome. But
those guys had it in like their top 30 games of all time.
Yeah, I'm super excited. So we have
gotta be good.
Forest Shuffle as my new to the collection.
Yeah, I'm excited to play it.
Me too.
And we'll be playing that one sooner rather than later, I think.
And what do you have?
I have a game that came out in 2024, and I heard lots of good things about it back then, and I found a pre-order for it in it might even been late 2024 or early 2025, and it's taken that long for it to come in.
As a pre-order.
Yeah, so it's been like a couple years I've had this thing on pre-order. And here it is. And it's a little trick taker game called Panda Spin. And this one comes from Moongate Designs. And it's from Carl Chudik. And this is... it's funny because I'd forgotten even what this game was entirely until it showed up in the box. And I was like, oh, right. And I read the back. I was like, oh, yeah, it's that trick taker. But it's like a weird one. There's 5 suits, I believe. They're all these different elements. And you are...
kind of like the Fifth Element?
I don't think this is anything like the Fifth Element.
Water.
But
wind. Fire.
What's the Fifth Element?
Oh, come on.
I don't know. What is it?
She's the Fifth Element.
Oh, right. The girl is. That's right. That's right. That's right. So... this is not that. This is entirely different. This is like a very samurai-looking panda. I'm not sure if it. I'm not sure. It looks Japanese. I'm not really sure, or like it's based on Japanese lore, I would think, or legend. And it's got these 5 different elements, and the cards are double-sided, so it's got like almost like a scout type thing going to the cards where there's
the top half and a bottom
half, and they're wildly different than each other. And when you're playing tricks in this, the whole idea is to go out. That's just like most, I believe. And when you play, you can play like sets. Like I could put down 3 of this, and then you'd have to play a better 3 of something, or I could just play in order, like 1, 2, 3 sort of thing in order or whatever, and then you have to beat that. However it works. There's a bunch of different.
Sounds similar to Scout.
Yeah. But there's when you win a trick, you get to discard all your cards, which is what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
But then you can also pass, and if you pass, you switch your cards from one end to the other end.
Okay.
And then they become like more powerful, or they do bigger and better things. And then they switch from the orange side to the blue side or something like that. And then when you if you pass again, at some, like on your next go round, when you pass, then you'll score any cards that you put down that were blue.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it sounds like this is going to work. That's the gist of it from what I've read. But apparently a lot of people loved this back in 2024. Because I had not heard anything about it other than I saw it on a bunch of like top 2024 lists back in the day.
Yeah.
And and I pre-ordered it, and it took forever to get here. So I don't know when you're going to hear about Panda Spin, but you'll hear about it this summer, I assume, because sounds like something we could bring camping with us or whatever, right? So you'll probably hear about this in the next month or so, along with Force Shuffle. But yeah, my voice is already starting to go pretty poorly here, so we're going to take a little bit of a break. We are going to go head over to our crowdfunding segment.
Yep.
All right, let's go. Alrighty then, here we are at the crowdfunding segment of the episode where we have one game we want to take a look at, and it is over on Gamefound. Mm-hmm. What game are we looking at, Anna Marie?
We are looking at Wreck, designed by Manny Tremblay and published by Chip Theory Games. Mm-hmm. And Wreck is the second game in the universe of Roth,
which is a game that we really liked from last year, the year before.
1 or 2 years ago.
It's in the last,
bad with years.
It's a fantastic game, though. Roth was really, really good. It was like an area control fantasy game with some really neat kind of things going on. And Wreck seems to be expanding.
It is. So it's the same storyline, kind of. So
it's in the same universe, too, right?
It is, but it continues it on. So it says, as the war on the Drudgen Peninsula rages on, the warring factions set their sights on the nearby archipelago, a system of islands teeming with life and danger. The sound of cannon fire echoes as factions vie for supremacy on land and water. In this 2 to 4 player competitive game, asymmetric factions contend for control over both the islands and the sea.
Mm-hmm. So in Roth and now Wreck, you are selecting a faction, and there's a whole bunch of these wicked factions. So the factions in Roth were very much fantasy. There was dwarves, there was and alike, that type of thing. Whereas this one's introducing like the pirate side of that,
and probably
world.
Like sirens, like
you can imagine
ocean things,
right?
And
that type of thing you're probably going to see in this. So it's a very similar game to Roth, but it involves expanding on how that game played with
they have ships now,
because
it's all about around islands,
mm-hmm.
and the ships it's an added mechanic. It changes the gameplay a bit. Like I think you can that's how you're maneuvering, but you can block, I think, people. If your ship is there, you're going to block a pathway, and then you can the ship can get kind of destroyed, and then it looks neat.
The main game of Roth and Wreck, they run the same way, whereas when you draft like your faction,
it's all dice drafting too.
You get your faction, and then that faction comes with its own set of dice that are unique to that faction, where they're going to have a whole bunch of different symbols on them, and then you are going to basically roll those dice, and you're going to draft out what you rolled from those dice, and assign those dice to give your faction kind of actions for that particular turn, on whether it's movement or attack or the special abilities you can unlock or adding troops to the board. That type of thing is going on here. But now that this is just a bigger, grander kind of game going on here, including these ships that didn't exist in the other one. The other one, you're basically on an island, and you're vying for control of that island. And at the end of every round, you're kind of gaining points depending on where you are on the map and what you've got the majority in. And I guess this is going to expand on that.
Yeah, and one neat thing here they've got is that Wreck factions are backwards compatible with Roth, and Roth factions can dip their toes into the volatile seas of Wreck to wage war once again. So you can the factions are interchangeable. You can use them in either or. So if you have Roth,
you have your favorite faction, and there's some sweet factions in this game.
Cool.
And the cool thing with these games too is they're not typical when it comes to fantasy. You expect very Lord of the Ringsy style artwork and stuff. This is all neon, Technicolor, cool stuff. And the factions, like the artwork, look really cool with like bright pink and bright green and all this cool stuff.
And
They're
the
really
production quality on the games is
Chip
dynamite.
Theory,
right?
Chip Theory,
the board game is a neoprene mat.
Yeah.
And like
everything comes in a game
sewn
tray
edges and they're so nice.
Everything's gorgeous. Everything, the production of everything that comes from Chip Theory is unreal, and this is no exception. So Rec, we're excited about because of how much we loved Roth. And Roth played really good at 2 for an area control game. We thought we didn't know how that was going to work with Roth, and it turned out to be fantastic.
Yeah.
And hopefully Rec would be the same. So let's take a look at Rec on Gamefound. There's a bunch of, let's see, where are the, how do I get to this? Back, there we go. All right, here we go. So we have the Rec gameplay bundle. Did we say how many days are left on this, by the way?
This one is 13 days left.
13 days left.
I don't think we did say that.
No. So a couple weeks-ish left to go on this campaign. And the first one you can do, the first pledge level is the Rec gameplay bundle. This one comes with the Rec Deluxe Edition. It comes with the Ramake Rec Faction expansion and the Overkin Rec Faction expansion and the Feats Challenge Pack. I'm not really sure what that is, but and that you get for $99.95, I believe, American. So
that's the gameplay bundle. I was trying to find
the Rec gameplay bundle. Yes.
Trying to find the rewards. I went to it and it was just giving me some chart. I'm like, I can't see any prices. I can't see what's in it. So that's your deluxe version of the game with a couple extra factions. And is that US? I believe that's US. I'm pretty sure. I'm going to say it's US. If it's Canadian, then that's even better. But I think it's probably US. I think it's US. Yeah. And then we have the Rec Deluxe. Okay. Which is $69.95, which is pretty good. Where it says, what do we have here? It's just the deluxe version of the game. So and everything is deluxe. There's no other version of this. So that one just doesn't have like the expansions. Yeah, right? It doesn't come with those 2 extra factions. The factions. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's the all-in gameplay, which comes with Roth and Rec and Roth plus 4 extra factions. Okay. And that's for $219.95, which is a pretty okay deal, I think. Like $219. You're getting both games and both deluxe version. And they don't have a non-deluxe version. But because they're that's right. Everything they do is deluxe, right? Yeah. And the 4 extra factions, that seems okay. And then there's the everything new bundle. This is what has it got here? The Rec Deluxe, the faction expansion, the 5 to 6 player Roth map. And Rec map. Metal troop tokens for Rec, dice trays, Roth and Rec dark mode map. Ooh, that looks cool. Neat. Yeah, that looks really cool. Right? Holy smokes. The Rec metal art print set and Feats challenge pack. I wonder if that looks pretty sweet. I just made that dark mode map look, I've made it bigger. Mm-hmm. Woo! That's nice. Very cool. That's really cool. That would look neat on, we don't have this table, but I've seen those tables on Gamefound or Kickstarter where they've got like LED lights all around the table. I was thinking of putting that on here. But if you I wouldn't want to play the game in the dark, but that would look really neat if you had like neon lights like that around there or the LED lights and playing on that kind of a dark map. That looks really cool. That's the everything new bundle. That's for $284.95. So that gives you everything as if you own Roth, and this gives you everything on top of that. And then there's this gigantic all-in bundle, which gives you everything that Roth has ever made, and same with Rec, for $499.95, which is pretty crazy. And there's an even bigger one here. Become a CTG strategist. So here it is. I'm going to read it. Okay. 10 people will have the opportunity to contribute a high dollar pledge to Chip Theory Games. In exchange for their generosity, we will provide them with a copy of every future CTG base game we crowdfund without any additional charge. Note, this does not include previous Chip Theory crowdfunding campaigns. Wow. And every game that they ever produce from this point on? Yeah. Please note that shipping is still charged on all future campaigns when applicable. I mean, that's fair. That's not a bad deal. That's not a bad deal. It's $850, but if you got to think this is an investment into the future, right? And Chip Theory
If there's one company out there, honestly, where I was like willing to even consider doing something like that, this is one of them. Because everything Chip Theory does is of the highest quality. They don't screw around when it comes to, they don't just throw out any old design. Every design that comes out from them is great.
Yeah.
And all the production quality of everything they do is great. That's interesting. Not that I'm saying we're going to spend that.
But you get the Rec Deluxe and the Feats Challenge Pack plus their...
plus everything that comes beyond.
Yeah, for their future.
That's pretty wild.
That's really cool.
That's something to consider. If you have that extra kind of money around, this is not a bad one to consider. Mm-hmm. If you like Chip Theory games, and we do, it's something to think about.
Absolutely.
Not that we're going to, but
not that we're not going to think about it. We may not.
We're going to think about
that right now.
We're going to think about it, but we're probably not going to do that.
No, not at the moment. But that's cool.
But I think we are 100% going to be getting ourselves a Rec Deluxe box. Because Roth was great, and Rec, I'm assuming, is going to be perhaps even better.
Yeah.
So, and the cool thing about being able to swap factions in and out is that's super cool.
And we may I'm just checking to see if it's in here. I want to see if that dark mat is an add-on, which it is.
Oh, perfect.
$20 dark mode map.
Okay, we're going to do that.
Right?
We're going to do the Rec Deluxe, and we're going to grab ourselves a dark map, because that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Cool. Well, there you go. Something to consider. If you liked Roth, or you like the sound of Rec, go check it out. It's on Gamefound for another 13 days as of this recording. And, yeah.
Yeah.
And
this looks really cool.
Yeah. Go check that out.
That's Rec.
Rec, yes. Chip Theory Games. So, yeah, we are going to go take another break and head on over to our final segment of the episode. Let's go. Alrighty then, here we are at the final segment of the episode where we are doing another Meeple Dungeon review. And what are we reviewing today, Anna-Marie?
Today we are reviewing Speakeasy, designed by Vital Lacerda, art by Ian O'Toole, and published by Eagle-Gryphon Games.
Yep, you betcha. So we have finally got around to playing Speakeasy. Yes. This is one of our most anticipated from last year that we got Speakeasy in and around like the fall, I think, is when it arrived, and it just didn't make it into our played games. Yep. Just because these, it's a Lacerda.
It happens.
Let's be honest.
Yep.
And it's a big, intimidating game. And we didn't get around to playing it, and so it became something. What was it? Last episode where we talked about the games we wanted to play this summer. This was one of them. Right. There we go. We knocked a game off of the list. And the only reason we were really able to do that is because Scott and Matt both came over and taught it to us. Thank goodness.
Yeah, so amazing.
Because we are not particularly heavy gamers. We like heavy games, but it's this is a big, like, we don't have a ton of time to be learning big heavy games, and then it's not conducive to like our lifestyle per se right now. So they offered to come and teach and play with us, and thanks guys for that. That was fantastic of you. Because this was a game we really, really, really wanted to play, and we finally got to play it. So do you want to tell them a little bit about the theme?
Yeah, all right. I'll give your throat a break for a minute, because it's a bit of a chat here, but it'll be a good one.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So, Speakeasy will transport you back to the roaring 1920s during the era of Prohibition. In the Prohibition era, Manhattan was under the firm control of Lucky Luciano, a prominent mobster. To strengthen his grip on the territory, he implemented a well-structured system called the Commission. He divided Manhattan into different districts, each assigned to a specific mobster responsible for handling their, air quotes, legitimate operations.
Yep.
These mobsters operated under a non-aggression pact, refraining from attacking each other and cooperating when needed. This agreement ensured a relatively peaceful coexistence, allowing them to focus on expanding their operations without internal conflicts. The mobsters heavily guarded their controlled areas to maintain order and prevent newcomers from encroaching on their territories. Any unauthorized attempt to establish a presence was met with hostility. As a result, only those within the existing network could participate in the lucrative world of illegal activities. Their thriving empire and illicit activities, such as bootlegging and gambling, brought them substantial profits. Lucky Luciano ensured that each mobster received a share of the overall revenue based on their performance and the efficiency of their operations. The success of their empire relied on effective organization, cooperation, and loyalty to the system established by Lucky Luciano. Despite the criminal nature of their activities, they were skilled entrepreneurs who managed their criminal empires with strategic precision, making them formidable forces in Manhattan's underground during the Prohibition era.
Yeah, there you go. This is all about mobsters, real-life mobsters, mind you, as far as I can tell anyway. And during Prohibition in New York, in Manhattan. So you're playing as one of these families that are kind of underneath the mob.
The Luciano.
The Lucky Luciano big family. So you're playing as kind of a small timer, and you're trying to get your operation up and going. All the while trying to pay off police and guard your buildings and steal things and sell booze and all that stuff. Yeah, so this is, like I said, this is a big old Vital Lacerda game.
Big old heavy game.
Yes, the heavy of the heavy for us. And luckily this game had a wicked theme on top of it that made things a little easier to understand on kind of what you're doing and what your goal is. So this is, I'm not going to be able to explain even probably half of this game. Basically, I'm going to go through and tell you about the board. I'm going to tell you about your player board, the actions that you can do. That's kind of it, because it's so intricate, as you would imagine, from a Lacerda.
Yep.
Where you're going to have to learn and play a bunch of these things for yourself to really understand. But I'm going to give you the quick and easy version of this.
Cole's Notes.
Right. What does that mean? What does Cole's Notes mean? I was going to say that, but I don't know I know what it means, like the easy version of it or whatever, or the short end version of it. Where did that come from?
I don't know.
Is Cole a person?
The Coles was like I don't know if this is where it comes from. I'm going to look it up and I'll see how wrong we both are.
No, I'm not saying it's anything, because I refrained from saying it because I don't know what it means.
I know that Cole's was a big bookstore.
Oh, Cole's the bookstore.
Yeah, and so
maybe
it comes from there. But I think some of them they may have also they may have sponsored like summaries, summaries of books. So it's idea. Here's because I think
you can look that up while I try and explain a few things here.
I want to see how close I am, because I'm just pulling that out of thin air.
Well, we'll see. That's a good guess, because I had no idea. So bear with me here. I'm going to explain as much as I can before my voice is totally gone. So you have a main board. On the main board is broken up Manhattan Island. Oh, she's looking at me very convincingly.
It says Cole's Notes comes from Canada,
Okay.
where they were created by brothers Jack Cole and Carl Cole, founders of the Cole's bookstore chain. I used to love Cole's. That was my favorite bookstore. And I would get...
I don't think we had a Cole's here that I'm aware of.
Sweet Valley Kids books there. Because I wasn't old enough for Sweet Valley High. So
okay.
I would get Sweet Valley Kids. But...
So it is from the Cole's bookstore.
I would think so. I think that's how they're... I didn't put in the phrase, but I think that's where Cole's Notes. It must be just...
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Something to do with the Cole's bookstore is where that came from. Anyway, okay, the main board has got Manhattan. It's got its split into three sections, kind of a uptown, middletown, and lower town, or downtown, or whatever you want to call it. And each one of those sections is also split up into a few different other sections, kind of like
they have districts and
within. Let's call the three big things the three big regions, and then there's districts within. Some of them have 4 or 5 districts cut up. So like this corner of that place is one district, that corner is another district. And within those districts are going to be areas where you are able to build your speakeasies, your casinos, your nightclubs, and your hotels. And there's only a few spots within each one of these little districts that you're able to do that. It's pretty limited within there. There's only usually about 2. I think it's 2 per district that you're able to build. And there's also going to be an action selection area at the top of the board, and there's a whole bunch of those I'll go over in a minute. On the far side of the board, there's a sideboard that gets attached to it that represents the docks, and there's docks in each one of these areas, and that sideboard kind of represents you being at one of those docks rather than being on the main board. At the top of the far right of the board is where all these different gangster tiles are going to be laid out, and you're going to be able to become friends with those gangsters.
The mobster board.
Yeah, the mobster board. You're going to be able to become friends with those mobsters throughout the game, and they're going to help you do things potentially. You might have to pay them, but you'll be friends with them anyway. And then you have your own player board. And on that player board, you're going to have 5 different tracks. There's a red, a purple, a yellow, a orange, and a green track. And they represent just kind of different strengths in things that you're able to do.
It's like the 4 different operations you're going to do throughout the game, and then your strength.
Yeah, it's basically how much whiskey you can make and how far your truck can drive.
Your production, your sales.
How much strength you have in your
family.
Like how much toughness you have, like how many hoodlums you have, sort of thing. Those are the 5 different tracks you're going to have, and you're going to start at the bottom of each one of those, and through the game you're going to increase those and be able to increase your production or increase your strength and increase the area you're able to go to. Things like that. You're also going to have at the bottom of your player board your buildings they start all on your player board, and as you build them, you take them off your player board, put them onto the board, revealing something underneath. That is going to then, as per most Lacerdas, give you something else. Yep. Now that you've built that, you've kind of opened up something else on your player board. You're also going to have a spot for your bosses. What are they called? The mob?
Those are your family members, right?
No, the bosses.
Your capos?
Capos. You have these 4 kind of mob boss capo guys that they're going to be your action pieces that you put out to select your actions
your workers.
with. Yeah, your workers. Then there's cards. There's cards representing each one of those different
operations.
Operation things. Yeah. There's the red, orange, green, and purple cards that you're going to be able to get. There's also these white cards that are
Those are the helper cards.
Yeah, they're kind of specialty cards that you're able to acquire through the game that are going to give you some set collection things going on and give you like a one-time kind of bonus thing it works for.
I think those are like the most aptly named cards in any game.
Helper card.
They're labeled, they're named helper cards, and what do? They help you.
They do. Yeah. They're kind of hard to come by, but when you grab them, they're good for you. Yeah.
They have some game end scoring, and they give you a little bonus.
And then around the outside of Manhattan, there's a few different locations for boats, and there's going to be these 4 boats set up, and they're going to be kind of set out at different spots on the board, and they're going to eventually kind of drive round and round and round the board.
They're the rum runner ships.
Yes, and you can either buy from them, or you could potentially steal their stuff, which is what I liked to do. And then there's a bunch of other stuff we could get into, but we don't really need to.
Just like gold tiles and different things like that.
There's a track that goes up the right hand side of the board, the main board, that kind of the further you go up that track, the more you're able. That's kind of like your notoriety, where you're the higher you are on that, the more money you're able to sell your booze for and so forth.
Yeah,
and you
everything
get bonuses
is worth more, and
as you go up this board. But then, so that's how does this game work? That's kind of the general layout. You're going to start the game with these 4 bosses, and the first round of every game. So we've played this with 4 and 2. Yeah. And depending on how many people you're playing with, there's a 3 and 4 player side of the board, and there's a 1 and 2 player side of the board. Not much changes other than just a few minor tweaks, and there's less places you can go in a 1 and 2 player game, and
less. They kind of do the adjustments for you on the board, which is nice.
Yeah, so there's certain actions are more limited than others, and things like that. So what are you going to do in this game? You have your 4 bosses that you work with.
Your capos.
And in the first turn of the game, or first round of the game, you are going to have 4 turns. You're going to have 4 actions you can do. And those capos are your worker placement. At the top of the board, there's going to be all your different action selection spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. Yes. And you are going to pick one of those with your capo. You're just going to put them on there, and you're just going to do whatever's below it. There are 8 different ones. the general idea of them is one of them, you're able to move up any of those tracks on your board. It's got this little symbol with like a pie chart with colors and just representing going up any one of those tracks on your player board. And then below it is kind of a selling feature where you can sell or drive
those your fleet operations.
Drive your truck. Yes.
Moving, yeah.
So you can eventually through the game, you're going to have you actually have a little truck, and it's got spots for 2 barrels of whiskey in the back, and you're able to drive the truck around on the board to deliver your booze around. And that's what that action does. There's one where you're able to build buildings from your board, which is something you really want to do because you can't sell the booze without having buildings. Your speakeasies built, and
because you have speakeasies, you have nightclubs and casinos,
and the big one, the hotel or something. I think
the casino was the big one, but and your stills.
Oh, stills.
So your speakeasies.
That's right.
Your stills, your nightclubs, and your casinos.
Right. So you're on that one action spot. You're able to build any 2 buildings from your player board, and they have a different cost associated with them below that. I should say the money. You have your money is what you spend to put out buildings. You have to pay to build them, but you have 2 different kinds of money in this game.
Yeah.
You have your front of house money, which is just your regular old money, but then you have your safe money.
Yes.
And the stuff that's in your safe
is called your safe money.
Is called your safe money, and you can only, if you want to spend from your safe, you have to pay basically twice as much. So if there is something that costs $5 to install, if I wanted to build a still for $5, it would cost me $10 to spend it out of my safe.
Yes.
So you have to be really careful about when and how you do that. Sometimes it's worth it.
Yep.
But overall, just be careful when you do that, just so you know.
And the one there's one action space that lets you build either a nightclub or a casino, and then there's a different action spot that lets you build either a speakeasy or a stills.
Exactly. So the one to the right allows you to do the nightclub or the casino, and then below that is a couple extra bonus actions. Just because on each one of those, on these main action spots, there's the main action you're doing, which on this one would be building up to 2 buildings, and then below it, depending on if you went to the left or to the right, because almost all of these action spots are split into 2.
Yeah.
If you go to the left on that action spot, you'd still do the main action, but then you get the left-sided bonus. If you went on the right, you would get the main action spot, but you'd get the right side of the bonus. Some of them you get both.
Yep.
But you just kind of have to look at it. There's either a dotted line that allows you to get both, or there's a solid line that makes you have to take the one on the side that you picked.
Yeah.
Because
or there's a slash, and you get like either or.
The action spots are limited. We should say too, because we can't both go to the same spot. We can't both go to the right-hand side of that one action spot. Once there's a person there, it's taken. However, I'll cover it later, but there is a spot where you're able to kind of copy an action. But for the most part, it's single spots. And then you gain the bonus below that, which could be gaining a card or moving up a track or something along those lines. So the next one over, you're able to gain books. And when you're gaining books, these books come into play. You basically gain a book token, and you're going to collect these book tokens on your player board. And at some points in the game, you're able to play out your books on one of the different actions you can do later on.
You're able to cook your books.
Cook your books is what it's called, yeah. And it's basically achievement claiming around the board. So there's a whole bunch of spots around the board that say, if you've achieved this and you go ahead and place a book here, you get so many dollars for doing so. So if you'd say, what's a good one? Here in front of me, if you'd had 3 speakeasies in this, what did we call it? Region. And you went to do the cook your books action.
And you had family members that were protecting them.
Sure. Yeah. If you qualified for doing the thing and you cook your books, then you put your book on top of that spot, you've claimed that whatever it might be, and that one would be $20. It goes into your safe, and no one else can claim that for the rest of the game. So these are little achievements around the board.
Yeah.
And that's called cooking your books, is claiming some different achievements if you've
qualified
for them.
Right.
The other part of that action spot, if you went to the right side, is you could claim one of those white cards we were talking about, those helper cards.
And just to confirm, that part of the action is just gaining a book. That's not using the book.
No, there's another action later which allows you to actually cook the books, but that's gaining a book that you're able to cook.
Yes.
And the bottom, or the bonus action on that one, is where you're actually able to install a
Speakeasy
still or a speakeasy. The next one over, you're able to gain a white bonus helper card thing, and move up any one track. And then the bonuses below that are the cool ones where you can actually then do a partnership with one of the mob bosses that are at that mob part of the board, and you'll take a tile off of there, and that mob tile will come over onto your player board, and it's going to have an actual person on there, like this one I have in front of me. Who's this? Tommy Three Finger Brown. And what's he going to do for me? He's going to give me +4 strength whenever I'm involved in some sort of altercation, but I have to pay him $5 to do so.
And if you flip him around there, when you first get him, you're also going to get a leverage token.
Yes, and leverage tokens come into play later on as well. So
but they usually give you some kind of a bonus, either a one-time bonus or a continual bonus, and then they'll give you strength if you pay for him.
You have to pay him to send his thugs your way.
Yeah, pay for the muscle.
Yeah, and the other thing you can do on that one, another bonus you can do is actually gain thugs. So at the top of your player board is a spot for thugs. You can have 6 of them at any one time. And they're
called goons.
Goons, okay. You're a goon. It's a guy with a shotgun over his shoulder. Yeah. And you can gain these goons, but you have to pay to install them onto your player board. So every spot that you kind of cover up with a goon, it gets a little bit more expensive. But they come into play later on when you're fighting.
Yep. And sometimes you'll have cards or other abilities that will let you gain a goon without paying the cost, which is kind of cool.
The next spot over is a spot where it has actually an unlimited amount, so everyone and anyone can go here. This is the restaurant, I believe, where everyone can come and sit at this restaurant. You're going to have to pay a card to go there. So out of your hand, you're going to have to pay a card. Those cards are kind of a currency as well.
They're the operations cards, so they match the 4 different operations tracks on the board.
Yeah.
And so they're color coded. And they do different things for you. They also increase your leverage, which are the same as those tokens.
Yep.
And and they'll give you bonuses and let you do different things, and they slot into your
player board
when you play them
in their designated spot, and then they do something for you kind of immediately, and then they also can give you extra strength and things like that. But you have to discard a card in order to even go to the restaurant.
Right.
You're going to then be able to switch your player position, like your turn order,
I guess, turn order.
And then there's some bonuses below that where you can play a card, you can cook your books, like we were saying. You can put out up to 3 different cooked books into those various places around the board. And then there's these little round tiles.
City tiles.
Yeah, that you're able to
actually use them.
Play these city tiles. So through the game, there's these little round city tiles you're going to be collecting as well, and they're going to be on your player board.
I guess you get to redeem them.
Yeah.
In this action.
Yeah, it's just kind of a delayed action that are on these tiles. And when you go to this spot, you're able to play those tiles and do whatever action might be on it.
They could have things like moving up one of the operations tracks,
install a
building, have a movement of your vehicle, right?
Gain a goon.
Different things, different little bonuses like that.
And that's kind of how that one works. The next one over, the second last one, is where you can gain your family members and goons. Depending, you could gain basically 1 family member and as many goons as you would like to pay for to add to your board. And the family members go onto your player board as well, and you can have up to 4 of them. And they're kind of like your second in command guys.
Your family members, you can only have as many of those as your
the red
VIP
track.
Room operations, which is the red column or the red track there. And so if you're only on your first space, you can only have 1 family member there.
Right. So you're going to want to pump up that red track so you can have more family members, because the family members are going to be able to be put out onto the board to protect your speakeasies and buildings.
Because if you have a speakeasy and say you've got some of your booze there, if a cop ends up being there, then they confiscate your booze unless you have your family member there to protect it.
Yeah. So and then the cop's going to look the other way, right?
So you want to be able to get them out next to your buildings that you've built.
So on that action spot where you're gaining a family member and as many goons as you want to pay for, the bonus actions below it on the left are to gain one of these, what are they called? Leverage tokens. Play a red card into your player board. And then if you went on the right side, you would gain a family member and as many goons as you would like to pay for. But then below it, you'd actually be able to put out a family member that you've acquired onto the board.
Protect.
And there's a couple different things you can do with your family members. One of them is to place it out where you have a building. That's a really good thing to do because, like she said, if a cop shows up in one of these districts where you have a building and you have booze sitting there that's not sold, they're going to confiscate it. Yeah. But if you have a family member basically standing at the front door, these guys are going to pay off the cops and send them away, and your booze isn't confiscated even if it's not sold.
Yes.
So that's one important thing you can do with them. The other important thing you can do with them is you can send them to the docks. So again, there's that dock sideboard, which represents the 4 different docks in the game. And you can put them out there, and that operates a little bit differently. And I'll tell you about that in this next action spot. So you're going to be, what?
I was going to say, before we go into that, so with the family members, because we were talking about getting the leverage tokens and how you have leverage in your operations cards. When you're putting your family members out on the, in the districts beside your buildings that you've purchased, you have, like, depending on your turn order, it's going to determine how much leverage you need to put your family members out. So if I'm, in a lower turn order or a later turn order, it's going to cost me less leverage.
Right.
And so if I'm first player and it's going to cost me a whole bunch of leverage to get my family members out, I might have 3 family members there, but I can only afford to put one out because they cost so much leverage.
True.
Whereas putting your family member in the docks
is always
free.
Free to do.
Yeah, you
don't lose your family members. If you can't afford to put them out onto the board, you can always put them at the docks.
Yeah.
And you choose when you put a family member at the docks, there's 3 docks, one representing each of the different regions. And depending on where you put them, there's a little bonus you're going to get for putting them there. And then depending on which dock they're on is going to dictate whether or not they're going to be able to interact with one of the boats that's in that region.
Right.
So if there's a boat in particular you want to interact with, you have to make sure that you put your family member where that boat is.
Right.
So you have to pay attention to that.
And then once that boat is interacted with, it moves. It moves clockwise to the next available spot. So it could still be in the same region or skip over to
they move around the board
one,
depending on how often they're interacted with. So the last action spot you can go to is playing an orange card. And gaining thugs.
So the orange card is the stills operations card. So that's basically like how much you can produce.
Yeah. And every time you play one of these cards, you're going to go up on the track that it's associated with. It's going to give you maybe a little action below it, like a bonus action, and it's going to give you extra strength when it comes to playing out your family members.
Yeah. The purple cards are the party operations, and they basically say how much you can sell.
Yep. Exactly. But the other part the main part of what you're doing on that very last action spot is interacting with the boats.
Yeah.
So if you want to attack the boats, and that's what this is not interacting with the boat, I should say. This is attacking the boats. So each boat has is represented on the sideboard. There's a white boat, a blue boat, an orange boat, and a purple boat. And each one of them has a bunch of liquor on them. We're represented with these little plastic barrels. And they also have a crate on board. And those crates are going to have various bonus cool things on them. And what's going to happen here is if you're attacking the boats, and that's what you're doing in this action spot, you can interact with them differently with your trucks. But this is actually attacking them. And you're basically just attacking them to steal from them. Each one of the boats has a different strength, a starting strength, 12, 11, 10, and 9, depending. When you go there to attack them, it's pretty simple. You can pick a boat that's in the area of your dock that you want to attack. All you have to do is beat it with your strength. So you have to tally up how much strength you have in goons, in your actual strength for your house, plus the mob boss that you're friends with, and pay him off.
But also, if you have family members in that section of the docks,
it's a multiplier.
It's a multiplier for your strength.
Right. So if I had 4 guys, like right now on the last game we played, I have 4 guys on one dock. If I had 4 guys there times my strength of 4, that's already 16 strength I have just from my family members. So I wouldn't even have to spend goons to take on any one of these boats.
And if, say, you only had 2 family members there, but I had a family member there, you could pay me to use my family member, and then my family member counts as one of your multipliers.
Right, which is thematic, as they were saying earlier on, that they were at peace with each other,
working together,
and would work together. But I mean, they always,
for sure,
they have to pay each other.
Free.
Not for free, but they would work together, right? So I could pay some of your family members to help me attack this boat. And when you do, you would just simply take the rightmost barrel of liquor off of the boat and put it into your kind of liquor storage spot on your player board.
And when you take that off, now the lowest value there is one higher.
Yes.
So if you're somebody's gonna go and attack that boat again, it's now gonna be
it's
gonna
stronger.
cost them cost them more because they're like, oh, I gotta buff up my security.
Exactly. They've added another guy with a gun onto the boat or something like that.
Yeah.
And the other thing that you get is the crate that was associated with that boat. And there's these crate tiles that are assigned to these boats at random, and you're gonna get a cool thing from it. It's gonna give you some money for how many of, like, it'll be, if you have X amount of these on the board, you get that times $5 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then you can get some books, or you can get up a track, or you can get some tokens, or you can get this or get that. So it's got a bunch of bonus stuff on there. So you want to look at those to be like, oh yeah, if I got that crate, I've got 3 of those on the board. And if I get 3 of those times $5, that's going to give me $15 if I, that kind of thing. So you have to look at that. And then a new crate will be assigned to that boat when you've beaten it. And then one of your family members is going to come off of the docks back to your player board once you've successfully done an attack, so that you can't just keep adding more and more and more guys there. You have to. They don't want you to be too strong at the docks. And that's kind of how that works. So the other things that you're going to be doing through this game is when you're going to be you have to install a still in order to even make the booze. And in order to, so you have to have that out there, and then you'd have to do the action to actually create the liquor, like still the liquor. And in order to do that, you have to use I want to say it right, the orange. Actually, you'd have to do
the stills operation.
The stills operation. And those
that produces your.
In order to produce that stuff, it's basically through the orange cards that you're going to play. To do that, there's also other spots on the board you're able to do that with. But so you have to kind of get into a rhythm here. You have to do first things first. Basically, you have to get a speakeasy out there. You have to get a still out there. You have to produce some alcohol. You have to set out a family member at one of your speakeasies, and then you have to load up the alcohol into your truck, and then you have to drive your truck over to the speakeasy and drop it off, and then you have to do a sale.
Then you have to use
to sell it.
Yeah.
And if you hopefully guarding it, because if you don't, and these cops show up, they take all your stuff, right? So that's what you're thematically doing through this, and you have to just figure that out very Lacerda-y through the different actions. What do I do first? Do I do this or do I do that? Yeah. What makes more sense? Well, I'll get this going first, and then I'll get this going. That type of thing. So for the first round, you're doing four actions. Mm-hmm. That's it. Play out your 4 guys. We go around the table doing 4 actions each, and then the round ends. And then there's a bunch of upkeep that has to happen, where more cops get set out. The mob moves into different neighborhoods.
And when mobs move in, like the game starts and you have mobster speakeasies already set up, and you have some coppers already out. And so when at the end of the round, you're going to be putting out, more of these tiles to say like, okay, the next round we're going to have more of these.
Yeah, there's little markers to give you the heads up.
Where the next
where the cops are going to show up next round. Or next round, and you also know where the mob is going to be.
They're going to add more to set up shop if you're not there already.
Yes, and then you also know where the mobs are going to start attacking different zones as well.
And if you have your speakeasies or your buildings in a place that then the mobs kind of go into, you have to kind of make sure you can pay them, and so there's some upkeep you have to do there. You have to, basically you may or may not get into an altercation with the mob. You may or may not end up with cops at your doorstep, and you have to double check to see. But each round I have protection? They're putting out more.
Yeah, do I have protection there, or is my booze getting stolen? Do I have enough strength to keep the mob at bay, or are they going to take over because if you don't, the mob comes in and just takes over your area, and they put one of their buildings where yours was, and you spent all this time building it, and it was for nothing.
And now it's gone.
And then there's some other upkeep about different area control that happens in the different regions, and if you have the majority, you're going to get some extra money, and if you have the second most majority, you're going to get a little bit less money.
Things
like that are going to go on. You're going to seed out the more cops. You're going to seed out the mob into their various places, check for those majority bonus things. Then you're going to move on basically to the second and third and fourth round. The only difference between these rounds is in the third round, you only have 3 actions. You're getting rid of one of your bosses. You're only going to do 3 actions in your second round. Then you do all that upkeep again. And then the third round, you're going to do 3 actions again. You're going to do all that upkeep again. And everything's going to grow, right? All these buildings are going to grow and grow and grow. And there's going to be more and more things on the board. And in the final round, you're only doing 1 action. And you have to line yourself up for that kill shot at the end to like maximize your thing. It is difficult.
Well, it is. And then you can put out all these speakeasies and casinos and nightclubs.
And that's good because you're going to get stuff for that at the end of the game. But
however, they have to be protected.
Yes.
If you don't put family members out to protect them, they're not going to give you points at the end of the game or money, I guess.
There's lots of, you have to dot your I's and cross your T's in this game because you have to be like, you can't just, I'm just going to build a whole bunch of stuff. That's not going to work because you're going to get nothing for it at the end.
Yeah. So you've spent money to do it and it's not really doing anything.
You have to do A, and then you have to do B, and then you have to do C, and then you have to do A, and then you have to do B and C. But then C is not going to be available, and you have to pivot to like D, E, F sort of thing, right?
Yep.
So for everyone listening knows Lacerda Games, I think that's about as far as I can go with explaining this. There's a lot more going on than just that.
And one thing I'll just mention here is they do have they've got a lot of public goal tiles that you can put you put a few of them in the game, and those are just going to help give variety. So just different public goals that everybody can try to aim for.
Tons of different variety just a side thing in this game. And that's it. You're going to do those 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 actions, and then you're done for the game. So it really, like, you have to make every action count. And at the end of the game, there's going to be a bunch of, it's basically most money wins. So you're going to have your money that's in your safe, and you're going to have your money that was in the front of house. And then you're going to have all the different bonuses you've played out. You're cooking your books. You're going to have your majority area bonuses.
You score for the speakeasies.
You score exactly for the buildings you built that are protected by family members. Remember, you're going to have those white cards that you played.
Helper cards.
The helper cards. They have these little bottles of booze in the bottom of them, and you're going to score your highest amount of money on one of those cards. Like you're basically collecting.
It's a set collection of the bottles.
Yeah.
So if you have different
for every different
color
bottle
or kind of bottle you get to score those points.
Whichever one has the most money on it, because in the bottom left is a bottle of booze, and in the bottom right is a dollar amount, and then you as you spend those, you keep those in your safe, and you're gonna take a look at those at the end of the game and get a bunch of money from that. And then it's whoever has the most money at the end is the big boss of New York. And that is the best I can do for Speakeasy.
Well done.
With my voice just about done. So let's revisit the theme. Does it lend well?
Yes.
Of course it does.
It does.
The theme is tremendous in this game.
It very much lives the theme. Like
my goodness, yes.
Yeah, when you're playing, that's all you're really entrenched in the theme.
Perhaps the most thematic Lacerda.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible. I loved the theme.
The theme comes out
It came out strongly. Exactly what I was hoping for from that. So how about the artwork?
That's great.
Of course it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's
1920s theme, right? Like you've got the dimmer colors from there, and not dim, like muted, but they're very
gorgeous.
It's so nice.
And it's Ian O'Toole, which is always gorgeous.
Yes.
And it's just, I don't know, it's amazing.
There's
lots of photos of this on all of our socials. So if you want to go check out what it looks like, there's tons of photos on there of Speakeasy. Components are fantastic.
Great. Lovely wooden meeples and chits and things like that.
As per always Eagle-Gryphon Games and Lacerda Games, everything is wooden, classy, nice, solid.
Yep.
Like the barrels are, the liquor barrels are awesome.
Yep.
Everything's great. Screen printed.
Dual layer player boards.
Everything's as you would imagine.
Yeah.
Top drawer. Very, very, very
nice
good.
They have nice little slots to put the cards in. They also give you just like a long rectangular little piece of cardboard to put underneath the top of your board so that your cards slide in nicely.
Yeah, it really made a big difference. I was like, what are these things? And I think it was Scott's like, oh yeah, you just put that under your board. I
was looking to see in the instructions what they do, and I could not figure out what their purpose was, but that's what it was.
Yeah, they thought of everything. This game, components, artwork, amazing. The rule book is actually really good. But to be fair, we were taught this.
Yep.
Thank goodness again to Matt and Scott for coming and teaching this. They both knew it inside and out. But from everything I've read in the
and when we had to go like check rules and stuff,
it was easy peasy.
It was a good rule book.
Great rule book for such an intricate game. But yeah, thanks guys for your teach.
Absolutely.
So it comes down to whether or not we recommend this, and if so, who for? Obviously, highly recommend this game. If you like heavy games, holy smokes, is this fun. I remember in our first game, when we were playing with Scott and Matt, Scott and Matt were out there just doing their thing, building buildings and getting the booze going, and they're driving the trucks around. And I was like, I don't know what I should do. And I just basically abandoned that altogether. And I just went to the docks and just attacked ships and stole their booze and crates, and I did pretty well, and without doing any of the other stuff.
And I ignored the docks because I'm like, I didn't really dive into that side as very much in the first game, but
I went a completely different direction. And then when we played, I basically didn't do anything with the boats, and there's like a whole bunch of different ways to play this.
Yep.
And the theme comes out super awesome. If you love heavy games, this is one of the, this might be my favorite Lacerda.
Yeah, it's a great game. I really like it. It is
I think it is my favorite Lacerda.
Yeah. Well, the theme is so high for you that like the theme worked really well, and
it did.
It just flows nicely.
It just makes my brain work. It makes my brain understand what I'm looking at and what I'm trying to do.
And then I just want to say this game is a table hog.
It's a huge.
We're
lucky
game.
To have an enormous game table.
We have a big table, and then just when you're playing, especially, I've got 4 players.
Yeah, make sure
you're around everything, and there's
your typical,
so many components that.
Yeah, your typical board game table probably won't fit you and 4 players. You're probably gonna have to have side tables.
Well, because you've got the board, which is a big board, and then you've got 2 sideboards, one for each side.
And then player boards and cards and tons of different trays with different bits and pieces.
Yeah.
So be prepared to have as big a space as you can.
One nice thing is it doesn't really matter what side of the board you're on, because most of the stuff is just iconography.
Yeah.
So you can see it upside down. It's not a big deal, right? Iconography is really easy.
It was so easy to know what I was doing. When I put my guy down on the action spot, I was like, yep, there's the wheel. Okay, I go up a track of my choice, and there's a picture of the truck with an arrow. It means I'm driving my truck, right?
Yeah.
Like, pretty great that way. But obviously this game's not for everyone. This is a super duper heavy game. This is the heaviest game we've played since Unconscious Mind, I would say. Mm-hmm. This is heavier. So this is the heaviest game we've played in years, I would say. This is heavier than Unconscious Mind. This is heavier than SETI.
The last Lacerda we played.
Yeah, basically.
But then
it's heavier than Galactic Cruise.
Everybody kept saying that Galactic Cruise was so heavy, and I feel like that one was not as heavy as it.
It's not as heavy as this.
It's just because but it also was just so smooth that it didn't feel heavy. But
this is probably the heaviest game we've played in a couple of years.
Yep.
Probably since Weather Machine. That's the last Lacerda that we played.
Yeah.
And we liked Weather Machine, but this is way better than Weather Machine. Way better. So there you go. We highly recommend it for people that love heavy games. This was a home run. This is so good.
This is really good. I mean, age-wise too, a little bit older, just because it is pretty complex and pretty heavy.
Yeah. What does it say on? Does it say on here what they recommend for age? I'm gonna recommend that you want to be probably 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
Before you start even thinking about this game. I don't know what it says on the thing, but it's heavy.
They say like 14.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
14 plus. Yeah. And just because it is a heavier game, there's a lot going on.
For sure. There's a lot to keep track of, but it's so good. So 2 big thumbs up from us here at the Meeple Dungeon. What a fantastic game. Thanks again, boys, for your teach.
Thanks again for
you made this happen for us, so that was fantastic. And my voice is just about done. So
there you go.
We are going to call this an episode. You can find us on X at Meeple Dungeon. Same with Blue Sky and Instagram. You can find us on YouTube. And if you'd like to contact us, it's the meepledungeon@gmail.com. So, yeah, I think we're going to run. And we will see you in the next episode. Cheers.
Have a great week, everyone.
Bye-bye.